All right, there we go. Hey, everybody, it's Morgan and Adam, and welcome to the Gospel of Two Wheels, number 217, I believe, which is like a lot of these things, where the coffee's hot, the bikes are fast, and your comments are thankfully absolutely ridiculous. Adam Mizta is tuning in actually from Chicago right now, the Chi-Town Hustler, we call him, and he is doing family stuff. He's back there right now. We're still working on the bike. Everybody who's here, thank you all for joining us. Adam, give us a rundown. Who are you? What are you doing? Why are you here on this show? Give us the whole thing.
Who am I and what am I doing? That's a great question, Morgan. Well, my name's Adam, and lots of people know me as Adam Does Dirtbikes. It all kind of just spiraled out of control when that was the Instagram name that I went with and the YouTube name, and it just kind of stuck. But I started dirt biking July of 2020, so a little over 2.5 years ago, and I got absolutely hooked on it. And I started doing the Hard Enduro series, the U.S. Hard Enduro series. It was called the Kenda AMA Extreme Championship a couple years ago. And then I did the U.S. Hard Enduro series. And this is the third year that they're doing this. And the first year I did it, I started chasing it on a Kawasaki, a KDX 220. And I was pulling that KDX 220 with my Subaru BRZ sports car. I stood out like a sore thumb. I was the only green bike in a sea of orange, and stood out and did the whole series on that bike. And here I am today, getting ready to chase the series for the third year.
Nice. Lucioli USA is coming in saying, hey, good to see you, Lucioli. Thank you so much for the sponsorship. For those tubes, we very much appreciate it. I know Adam appreciates it. Kim Jackson asked, where are you from? Are you from Chicago originally?
Yes, so I am from Chicago originally. Born and raised there, and then I moved out to Denver, Colorado, about 4 years ago. But the past couple of years, I've been scattered all over the country because just chasing these races and dirt biking.
Yeah, right on. And what do you do for work? Because I know but people are going to want to know how on earth some kid can travel all over doing all these races. So what is it that you do for work, Adam? How do you manage this?
All right, so my background's in mechanical engineering, and I work at an aerospace company. And the way I like to phrase it to people is, so when you buy something from IKEA and you get those assembly work instructions to assemble like furniture and stuff like that. I make IKEA-style assembly instructions so that technicians could assemble a spaceship. So I work for Sierra Space out in Louisville, and I work part-time, which is awesome. I only work 3 days a week, and it's really it really works well with my schedule because I will work 3 days a week, and then I'll do a 2-day weekend and then a 6-day weekend and just kind of flip-flop between those two. So it allows me to travel the country and race all these incredible events.
That's awesome. Roger Hurd, I got to jump in and say hey to everybody. Rural Delinquent, Chris Burns, Michael Webster, Roger Hurd, Snake Oiler, Denny, Bill O'Neill, obviously Kim, we talked Keith McQueen, Two-Stroke Addict coming in from Australia, by the way. And Roger Hurd, yes, dirt biking is an obsession. It's an ugly one that has taken a hold of a lot of us. But it's okay. It's better than a lot of things. I have a new obsession that's developing. I'm tying flies now for fly fishing, and it's weird how much I want to do that. It's a crazy thing. There may be a new YouTube channel coming. I'm thinking about calling it The Deadliest Craft, because it's like crafting, because you're like, you're making little things, but instead of like hanging it on the wall or selling it on Etsy, you're trying to stab fish in the face. So, Bruce Kennedy, what's happening? Keith McQueen, those Lucioli tubes are absolutely burly. They are the craziest things in the world. If you've never seen them, if you like low pressure, if you like that idea, right, of low pressure and getting all the traction, but not tubeless, because tubeless is dumb. I'm just gonna say, I'll say it 1,000 times. Lucioli is the way to go. I really think they're pretty freaking rad for what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been using them for like
absolutely.
6 months, right?
Yes, yes. So I started using them last year. I was racing the Silver King or the Silver Mountain Extreme, the race in Idaho, and I had one of my bibs was just so like worn out that the beads kept popping off of my tire, and then I think it was Anthony Johnson. He recommended Lucioli for me, and also Rodrigo Lopez from Rocky Mountain Way Extreme. He was running those, and
Crazy
Anthony was like,
Rodrigo.
"Crazy Rodrigo," but Anthony was like, "You got to try these things out, and like you won't have that problem of the tire coming off." And yeah, I tried them out, and the Lucioli tubes. There's a lot of things I really like about them. And like the first being that it has the rim locks are intertwined into the tube, which I think is really nice. The other thing I like about them is they're super thick. You're not gonna get a pinch flat with them. You could run them at super low pressures, and you don't have to constantly adjust mousses to match the tire. The front one is the one that I've had issues with, where I'll run a nitro mousse or I'll run like a super soft one, and then after one tire change, like if you put it in the same size tire, you notice that the mousse is blown out, and you have to constantly go from a wide tire to a narrower one, or you have to modify the bibs and keep putting chunks in there. And with the Lucioli, I've just run that, and it always fits the front, always fits the rear, and I love being able to adjust the pressure. You could adjust it really low, and then with the rears, what's cool is if it does run out of pressure, like say you have a leaking valve core or something like that, they have these reinforcements, and I believe it's in 2 spots, and then combined with the 2 rim locks, and then where the valve stem is, it's also kind of reinforced. You could run that thing flat and limp back home. And they say you could get maybe like 10 miles or so. And I accidentally ran one flat, and I noticed it felt kind of weird. And then I got back. I'm like, oh, well, this is why it felt weird. But yeah, I really like them, and they've been a huge help with getting the hard enduro bike ready for Hawaii.
Yeah. Kim, yes, the rim lock is in the tube. There are 2 rim locks inside the tube. If you go to Lucioli.com, you look it up, Google it, Lucioli. Lucioli, you're watching, type in your address so people can click on it. They show exactly what that looks like. It's pretty interesting, actually, how that works inside there. And Roger heard, yes, if you run low pressure, you end up with square rims. That's because you are a desert racer who likes to go real fast. You're like me. I know Lucioli's watching, and I know that they're very, very helpful, but I'm going to give you guys the straight up real deal on the only 2 downsides I've found. And they're not enough to be a deal breaker for me. I don't run them. I run mousses, or now moose balls, but so that's my style. But the one thing, mounting Luciolis is not super easy. Unmounting them, honestly, I found, because I just put a new rear tire on Adam's bike, and actually taking them off, I think, is harder than putting them on. It's kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest. But whatever. I mean, that's just get over it, figure it out. Like, it's not that big a deal. And then actually high speed, they're weird feeling. So, and it's because they're heavy. Everybody wants to know how heavy they are. In the video I made, I told people to shut up about their weight. I mean that. Shut up about the weight. But, because when you're hard enduroing, you're not going fast. Like, you're crawling through stuff. So you're not spinning the tire and the wheel at a high rate of speed. So it doesn't, that gyroscopic effect isn't a thing when you're doing that kind of work. Now, I rode Adam's bike down the road just to test the motor, make sure everything was good. And I wicked it up, 50, 60 miles an hour. And you could absolutely tell that those tubes are in there. It's like they're not in balance, which, again, I don't care about on a dirt bike, but they're not in balance, and they feel like they take a lot to turn. So I don't personally, I wouldn't be into them in a desert racing high speed situation. It wouldn't be my favorite thing. But I think for the hard enduro, I don't know. I don't think there's anything better that I know of.
Yeah, I really really like them for the hard enduro, and there are a couple tricks to getting them installed and to taking them out, especially with not the one downside I had was early on was when I was trying to put them on and I would scratch up the rim, and it doesn't bother me that I scratch up a rim, but the thing is that I keep scratching it in the same spot, and that over time isn't good. But I did find some tricks to, if you use like 3 tire irons, you could pop it out without scratching the wheel. And I am planning on making a video shortly to show how to do that. And we also did a video, Morgan and I did a video of Lucioli install. So if you're curious about them and you want to see them, definitely suggest checking that video out.
Yeah, and it's not the world's greatest like how to install video, just so everybody knows. I got it somebody, some internet troll jumped on there and yelled at me for not knowing what the tool was I used to hold the bead back. Like, I don't know. It's the tool that holds the bead back, man. But like whatever. But like admittedly, it's not the greatest because we didn't like focus on specific techniques, but it will give you an idea of how it looks. And it's just like it's really no worse than installing. If anyone out there has ever had a WR 450 or 250 and you've had 2 rim locks, it's just like that. It's a little weirder since the rim locks are in the tube and you kind of gotta like get it out. Jimmy Neihart, what did the fish say when it hit concrete? I can't wait to hear this. That's gonna be a good one. But so I think they're good, especially for hard enduro, especially for guys that like tubeless should absolutely try these things because I think they're better, and I think you get all the benefits and none of the complications of tubeless.
Yep.
So, Adam, quick, you got to ride the bike, and so the fish when it said it hit concrete, it said "damn." That's all. Thanks, Jimmy. I appreciate it. I love you so much. That's Jimmy Neihart. He's actually out in New Jersey, so he's closer to you than I am to you right now. But so you rode the bike. What do you think about the motorcycle now that we did all this work?
Holy cow. Huge difference. Suspension. The suspension is like night and day. I've never had suspension valved for me before. It was that was awesome. But the tires too. I have to say the first thing that I noticed when I first rode the bike, I noticed the tires. And so I like each tire is specific for whatever kind of riding you're doing. And we had a battle cross.
It's X30.
XR30, is that what it was?
Yeah.
X30. So I'm not used to that tire, and I'm sure it's good for some kind of terrain, but for the rocks, it did not do well. I love running the IRC tires. The JX8s are my favorite. When I started riding those, that was another night and day moment. I was playing around with the Shinko cheaters, and then I did the V33S from IRC, and then I tried the JX8, and I really understood why people use the JX8 for hard enduro. That thing just hooks, and it doesn't last as long because it's a gummy, but even when you start like getting the knobs, start rounding them off, you could flip the tire around because it's not directional, so you can flip it around and then you get some more life out of it. And even when the knobs are gone, like the thing surprisingly has traction, especially in the rocks. So yeah, the first thing I noticed was the tires and the suspension on the bike, and then the power delivery is way better because we put a 300 head on there, it's awesome.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm excited. Adam it's interesting because we talked about what gearing he wanted to put on it, and he said just run what I run on the other bike, 1352. So I said okay, and I've ridden with Adam. I know what his bikes are, but I kind of forgot that his other bike was an XCW, and this one's an XC. Same era motorcycles, like basically his other bike's a little newer, but same era. They, the transmissions are not the same between XC and XCW, but they're the same, from those years. So I forgot about that. So he got it out, rode it, and he was like, man, the first gear just doesn't see like. And I realized, I'm like, oh, that's right, because we're way taller geared, because the old XCs basically had like SX first gear, so it's super tall. So we got that fixed. We got a 12 tooth on there now, and it's gonna be good. Dude, Jimmy Neihart, you're a horrible man. Quick, Bruce Kennedy, is it difficult installing because of the length of the rim lock stud? Could it be shortened? You could shorten one, and in fact, if you were going to install it one direction every time, shortening one of them might be okay. If you shorten the other one, though, you might have a real hard time getting it into the hole and then putting a nut on it to hold. So if you only shortened I don't know. I think the key is, like with mooses, just get used to it and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, what are you doing specifically? Someone's asking, what is the terrain like in Hawaii? Do you know what the terrain is like in Hawaii?
Oh gosh, I've seen some videos of it, and it looks like it's really muddy and slippery, like clay, like this like red orangish clay. I imagine that it's going to be something like Ohio. Like Ohio terrain is really slippery and awful. But I also heard that there's some rocks in there too. So I really haven't been doing my research. I should be watching videos and finding out.
It's like at a moto kind of like park. I don't know if it's a park or it's like at a private thing, right?
Yes, it's at a motorsports park. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but
it's some crazy Hawaiian name. But yeah, so it's like there's a moto track, like an actual motocross track there.
I saw that too. Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm hoping Adam's gonna huck the triple.
Full send,
wide open. Let's see if we got any other. By the way, Matt Andreas, what's up, trail nerds? And those tires, all those gummy tires grip really well when they're balled in the rocks. It's just if you get any kind of loose dirt at that point, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So White Hollywood Enduro, that's a hilarious name. Big fan of VE33S's. Let's see. Rick Castro, what's happening? Dirt bikes all the way. What class are you riding, Adam? Tell us what class. Let's start with what you were racing and what you're racing now.
Okay, yeah. So I started off racing in the C class. So my first race, I only had 8 months under my belt, and I decided to do the Grinding Stone Hard Enduro, and that was out in Page, Arizona, and I was almost dead last with that. And then towards the end of the season, I ended up getting a podium finish for the East Coast and the West Coast rounds, but it was pretty much because I followed the whole series, so I had the most points, but I wasn't competitive at all. But last year, I also raced the C class, but I was getting competitive, and I was getting like top 5 finishes, and I had a couple second places in there. So I got second place overall and first place in the West Coast series. So technically, they don't say you have to move up a class, but I felt like I was ready then. So I moved up to the B class. So this is my first year in the B class. I already got one race under my belt. I did King of Motos, and I'm pretty happy with how I placed over there. I got a 6th place out of, I think it was out of 28 people in the B class.
Yeah.
So I was really stoked with that finish. So I definitely feel like I'm in the right class, and I know if I chase the whole series, and I stay with it, and if I stay like in that top 5 is where I want to be, I think there's a chance to get a podium finish overall.
Heck yeah, man. No, I was super happy to see you got 6th. That's huge, man. King of the Motos is nasty. First race in that class. Anyone out there who races motorcycles, you know what it's like when you move up to the next level. It's always such a kick in the gut. Because, you've been kicking butt wherever you were, right? And then you're like, woohoo, I'm going to move up. And you're like, Oh, that's right. This is harder.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how big of a difference there is in each of the classes. And yeah, I mean, I during the off season, I'm very fortunate that I got to ride with a lot of good people. Joe Nemeth, one of my buddies that lives out in Utah, I rode with him a lot and learned a ton from him. And he races in the pro class. And then I also was out in Arizona and got to ride with James Flynn for a bit. And yeah, and even riding with them, like I mean, it kind of started to prepare me, but I didn't really know what I was getting myself into until I raced it.
How is it? Because one of I always talk about this when I talk about hard enduro. One of my things that I like dread because I am going to do the Donner one. I'm going to go. We're going to do it. As I dread bottlenecks. How has that improved now that you've moved up to the B class? Has it gotten better?
Yes, I would say. Well, even before I was in the B class, like the bottlenecks get better when you figure out how to maneuver them. And in the B class, it seems like they get better because I have more people behind me that. So I'm already in front of people that wouldn't have the experience to be able to get up them, but just being able to maneuver them is a huge thing, and I think that comes into play regardless what class you're in, because you get more comfortable with taking lines that other people would consider, I guess they would consider it risky, or they wouldn't be comfortable with it, or they just don't have the experience to get up. So as you get better and progress, the bottlenecks become easier.
Nice. Jimmy's asking, are you doing tough like Roar?
Absolutely.
Yes. So yeah, Jimmy, are you gonna do it? That's the question. That would be
That is
awesome.
the question.
That's the big question. What? Let's see. I was gonna ask you. So you're a skinny guy, a relatively fit guy naturally. What are you doing to prepare physically for this kind of thing? Do you like throw your bike on the ground and then just pick it up a lot? Is that one way of preparing?
So that is actually a way to prepare for it. I was working with Wingman PT. So he's out in Arizona, and he was kind of helping me with a periodization program. And I haven't been doing the best job of following it because it's really difficult to do it unless you're like full time dedicated to this. But before, like I would ride a lot. Like that was my exercise, was riding. I right now I don't ride as much as I want to, but last year and the first year I rode, I was out riding 3 to 5 days a week, and that would be my exercise, But now what I'm doing is I'm focusing more on cardio. I hate cardio. I hate it. It's not my thing. But but yeah, like in order to maintain, to be able to maintain, have the stamina and be able to not burn out during the race, you can't just do 20 minutes of cardio and call it good. You have to be doing like an hour and a half, even longer, because that's the kind of situation that you're going to be in. And then you have to do it at elevated heart rates. And yeah, so that helps out. I don't lift or anything. I'm just doing the cardio and riding when I can. And then when I ride, I try to do like not just go out and putt around on the trail. I'd want to like get a couple hours in nonstop, and do like a hard enduro loop. But yeah, so the exercise, that's something that's helped, and then the nutrition. I am just stunned at how big of a difference nutrition makes. I went to like they had Rampage, was I think in October. It was in Page, Arizona, and they did a hard enduro exhibition class. And so I raced that, and I met somebody. It was Mark from Race Provisions, and Race Provisions is a company that does supplements, and he was talking my brains off about like what you should be eating before a race, and what you should be drinking before a race, and then during the race. And so I tried these things like 3 hours before a race, I'll eat a bunch of sweet potatoes and and chicken and yeah, just get the fuel for me, and then yeah, and some veggies, and then an hour before the race, I'll have a banana and either a pre-workout drink or some caffeine. And then during the race, I have electrolytes that I have in my pack, and I started doing that, and I did a couple races doing this diet, and I was just stunned at how much better I was able to ride and for how much longer. Before, I would get burned out after like 2 hours of riding. I would get brain fog. I would start cramping up. And now I did a race in Arkansas in December, and I raced for almost 4 hours and I didn't cramp up. It was awesome. And then this last race at King of Motos, I raced for almost 6 hours straight, and I didn't cramp up at all, and I still had energy at the end. Whereas in Grinding Stone last year, after 2.5 hours, I was done. I was done. So yeah, it's a bit of exercise and nutrition that really helps out.
Nice. And guys who are watching, if you got questions for Adam, please ask. Chris Kinberg says, "What's up?" And let's go, Adam. Chris is the guy sitting
What?
next to you on the line.
Yep, I remember, Chris.
Chris, I will see you very soon in Havasu. I'm very excited. Yeah, quick update for us guys. We are going to be in Lake Havasu, Arizona. Not this coming weekend, but the next weekend. If you're there, come find me. We're going to be riding dirt bikes, doing boat things one day, and then riding dirt bikes again. It's going to be a lot of fun. Bruce Kennedy, I'd like to learn more about this diet to fuel your body. So, Adam, who's the person you're using? And do you know a link or something like that we should check out?
So I'm using Race Provisions is the supplements that I'm using, but honestly, like it could be any supplements. Like Hammer Nutrition has stuff that would help out too. So that's on the supplement side. But in terms of like the diet, like I think the importance is like eating 3 hours before the race, making sure you're eating enough, getting enough carbs and enough food in your body, so that when you're out riding, you're using up that energy, and then sustaining it with some kind of electrolytes. I know people that will put like Pedialyte in their drinks, but and then I also have like the goos too, and they got calories in them and some caffeine and sodium and yeah, with nutrition, it's kind of interesting because it's everybody has their own unique take on it, and this like as long as you have something and you follow it and you're doing it, it's better than like waking up not eating anything and then going racing, you know. But I do have a contact info for a nutritionist. If you are interested, I could put you in touch with them, and she could help you out with figuring out a nutrition plan that could work for you. And she works with ultra enduro athletes with like ultra marathon runners. So I spoke to her and I got a lot of good info from her as well. So
Right on. What other, like, let's touch on sponsors, because there's been a ton of people that have been helping out with this whole thing. So we got to say some thank yous here before we get past it. Also, guys, if you have questions, be thinking of them. But Adam, I'm going to let you roll through the large list of sponsors.
yeah, absolutely. Well, up at the top is definitely Robbie. Huge thank you to Robbie for supporting me with all the racing seasons. I want to give a huge shout out to my awesome girlfriend Amber, my mom and dad for helping me out with flights. Crosslink Components has been awesome. They make these nice swing arm guards. Intech helped out with braking rotors. Wingman PT, Race Provisions, Arcade Tech for the head that we're using, DDC for the sprockets, Ryan Wells from Arizona Dirtbike Training. He's awesome. He's been a huge support for me. Counter Shocks, Grit Motorsports. I really appreciate all the support. XC Gear for the Mako 360, SX slide plate for the skid plate, bulletproof designs for completely armoring up the Hawaii bike. Highland Cycles, I wouldn't be able to do it without you, Morgan. Like huge help with building the bike, and it's a lot of stress off of my shoulders. And IRC Tire for hooking it up with some tires, Lucioli tube. Climb has been enormous support with gear for me. Champion Brick, Matt at Champion Brick, he funded the graphics, and yeah, it's I'm so grateful for all the support that I've had. It just kind of took off, and then there's another one. It was First
Track Moto or First Track Motorsports sent
so I'm super
Adam.
grateful for that.
Yeah, sent Adam a set of the Carapax stainless steel pegs. So super thankful. Ben Nicholson, thank you so much. He reached out and said, "Hey, I really want to help out with that bike." We'd already built, it's built basically. He's like, "Hey, I want to get Adam a set of pegs." I'm like, "Well, okay." And so, and honestly, everybody that he mentioned has been like beyond helpful. Like it's been the easiest thing I've ever done. Like Adam brought a whole bunch of his own sponsors, and then I reached out to all of my sponsors, and everybody was so excited to help out. And so thank you all. I just cannot say thank you enough. Just like Adam said, it's just, we're very grateful to have this and be able to go to Hawaii. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous that we're going to go to Hawaii.
And then I also want to give a shout out to to everybody that's supporting me on social media and the YouTube channel, and anybody that cheers me on at a race. Like that is just, I never thought that this would take off to I never thought it would go in this direction and that this bike would take off the way it's going. And I'm just super grateful for everybody that I've met at the hard enduro races and just dirt bikes in general.
Yeah. It's the greatest community on earth, in my opinion. It's a full of wonderful, wonderful people that just like to help and like to see people do awesome things, whether it be racing or just riding. It's just really, really cool. So massive thank you to everybody. If you guys are watching, I appreciate it. Bruce Kennedy, yes, they were all donated. Like, I whatever. That bike is nuts. It's just as nuts as my brand new bike. I mean, it literally has every part hanging on it that you could. It's as good as it gets.
And then TBT racing too. So.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I gotta mention that. So I've never ridden a bike valved for hard enduro. We valved. I just valved a shock today, and sent it back to, I don't know, somewhere in the Midwest. But Utah. Excuse me, Chris in Utah. So I've ridden lots of bikes valved for motocross, supercross, obviously desert, off-road, fast stuff, hair scramble. I've never ridden a bike that I valved for hard enduro, and I rode Adams just around here out in the front in the rocks, so not like crazy. I'm telling you, man, it's nuts how good that thing works going slow in the rocks. Like you go like crawling into them and you can't even tell they're there. It's just like, it just moves so good. And yeah, I'm psyched for you to get to ride the thing, like really beat on it. I think you're gonna be stoked.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. I'm excited for Adam because he, like you guys heard, he started riding a very short amount of time ago, and he's already like jumped up to this level. Now he's got this sweet bike, and we're going to Hawaii, and it's gonna be awesome. And I'll be racing him at the Donner Hard Enduro, so like gloves are off at that point. I'm all about helping right now. I'm all about helping currently. When we get to Donner Ski Resort in California, it's a different situation.
Oh, we'll see about that. You might be begging for help.
Oh no, I'm not saying that I'm going to do better. I'm just going to try really hard. I have a feeling that Adam's going to wipe the floor with me, but I'm going to
I don't know about that, Morgan. You are super fast, and that one, like I got a chance to ride the with the death march, part of the death march with you, and I was impressed at how fast everybody was.
Yeah, it's not, but it's not hard enduro. Like I do like to go quickly, but I'm going to be doing some training on because I'm taking that thing, Loretta the Game Changer. Even though it's really probably not my best bike for that, my other bike would be better, but why not beat up that? Here, quick preview of the new hard enduro graphics for when we're going.
Ooh, nice. Oh, those came in nice.
Yeah, super excited.
Oh, I'm digging that.
It's gonna be cool. But yeah, and yeah, Bruce Kennedy. See, that's the thing. Sabotage is exactly the word. So when it comes to racing, all bets are off. And if Adam's gas gets turned off on the start line, whatever. It's not my problem. Let's see, Adam, do you have any tips on where to watch in Donner? Have you ridden it before? Have you ever been up there?
So that's the one race I did not do. So I had one drop race each of the rounds, and it ended up being Donner for me just because it was really far away and just didn't work out with my schedule. But I don't know. I hear it's an awesome race, and I hear it's got some decent spectating, but I just haven't been to that one.
Mike, I don't know either because I've actually never been in the Sierras ever. I've been all over California, but not there. But it's at a ski resort, so it can't be. It's probably pretty easy to find a good place to watch. When people build ski resorts, they tend to, cut trees down, put lifts, things like that. So, but yeah, and Mike, stay tuned, obviously here on YouTube and on Facebook. Quick plug, guys. If you're here and you don't know who Adam is or you haven't subscribed to his channel, please go check out Adam Does Dirt Bikes on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Follow him. He'll be updating all this stuff. And stay tuned there because if we get there earlier, we find out more information about that, we'll definitely post it. And Matt, I'm going to come to Rocky Mountain Way Extreme this year. I just got to find time. It's like, I don't know, my life. It's amazing how fast things fill up. Like this weekend we're here. Next weekend's Havasu. Then there's something else, and then there's Hawaii. Then we come back, and then anyway, it's nuts. Whatever. And then the Pacific Northwest. If you guys haven't yet checked that out, also on Facebook, you need to come to the Ride the World Series of Awesomenesses, the Gifford Pinchot National Forest in Washington. It's going to be super rad. You can see Mount Rainier from the trails, which is awesome. It's super, super cool. Rich Pierce says, more content, Adam, please. So there you go, Adam. There's your poke.
I just let out a video yesterday. Oh, yes. These videos, sometimes they take so long to do, and I'm trying to do a better job of figuring out how to condense the story. And I think this season I'll be able to push out some more content, but I'm excited. The first one for this season was released yesterday, and if you haven't checked it out, definitely suggest you check it out. Getting back into my grooves.
Yeah. Well, and so Adam is not like me. He's not a teenage girl who spends all his time on social media like I am. So he's actually got a real person's job. He does real work that actually makes a difference in the world. Unlike me, who just goofs off with motorcycles all day. So, but I'm going to try to coach him into a little more content production, at least in the little short snippets during the week, because I know you guys want to see that. You want to see you see all my end, obviously all the time, but I know you're going to want to see Adam's, and the full videos. If you guys need to check it out because the video is really, really, really good. But yeah, I'm going to try to coach him into more Instagram stuff, like to keep people rock and rolling. So, Donner, as people are asking when Donner is, Roger Hurd, it's Father's Day, mid-June. It's like the 11th, 12th, 13th, something like that. And it's going to be super rad. I can't wait. Chris Kimberg, you're going to be there. That's going to be good. Denny Horstman, is the Hawaii race televised? It will be on YouTube, right?
Oh boy, so I don't know if it's going to be televised, but the U.S. Hard Enduro Series has been making these bad ass recap videos of all the races. So last year they made these recaps. I definitely suggest you check them out. Like they're incredible. Like Red Bull style. It's better than like a Red Bull video. But U.S. Hard Enduro Series on YouTube. I know they're
Yeah.
going to make recaps of all the videos this year as well.
Yeah. And I would say the best thing anybody can do to try to hunt that stuff down is, YouTube is probably going to be the best because they had it broadcast live. King of the Hammers had the King of the Motos broadcasting live, and it's always lacking. People always get fired up about the coverage. It's not that. I'm like, dude, come on, give these people a break. They're it's hard to run a live freaking thing. I can't even imagine. I just posted the link to the US Hard Enduro on YouTube so you guys can click on that thing. And then let's see. Have you heard anything about snake bite? I hope it's good. Yeah, have you heard anything, Adam, about snake bite at all? I have a little info.
Have I heard anything? Um, it's the week after Grinding Stone is what I hear. I don't know much about it. It's a new race. I don't think I've been down in that terrain. But yeah, I'm curious about learning more.
So, Matt, I don't know. I mean, obviously, no one knows everything about it because it hasn't never been done. But I know where it is. It's down in West Texas. West Texas has some horrific terrain. I mean, like all you want and more. So that's cool. I think that's going to be good. And in talking to Woody, who lives in just outside of Fort Worth, who knows all those guys, and I know Cole Kirkpatrick, who has land down there, which is basically where it is. I mean, West Texas is a big place, just like Texas is a big place. But they have a lot of people were worried it wasn't going to be hard enough because they've contacted a local club, and local clubs, they're not hard enduro clubs, and so they're worried they weren't going to make it hard enough. But they've got, I forget who they have. They have a guy who is a Texas hard enduro guy helping with this thing. So I think it's going to be wicked. I think it's going to be really, really good. So, and Texas, if you've never been to East Texas or West Texas, it's yeah, it's loose. I'll tell you this: it's bring whatever gear you've got that's good with really, really, really loose dirt. Really loose dirt.
No.
It's like falling apart dirt and steep and nasty. It's a lot like it's kind of like it feels like Colorado. It feels like Western Colorado, just looser dirt. So. There you go. Let's see. What other questions, guys? Let me see, Adam. So when are you? I don't. This is now we're just talking, Adam. And when are you guys getting to Hawaii?
What are we getting at Hawaii? So March 9th, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll stay in touch. My family and I we're going on the 6th, and then we're going to do Pearl Harbor and all kinds of stuff and before we go up there. And by the way, if you guys don't know, the Hawaii thing is on Oahu, on the North Shore. Adam, after the race, will be ripping pipeline, and we're going to get him out there surfing, and we'll get him in a big swell. It's going to be awesome. I think they're actually doing the pipeline competition was just like this last weekend, which I don't know if you know much about that, but the North Shore is gnarly surfing, like gnarly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. Jimmy, what area has Adam found to be the toughest? So of the country.
Oh gosh, that's yeah, they each have their own challenges, like Ohio, when I was at Ohio for the race over there in Little Hocking, it was just the mud over there is just ridiculous. It's this clay. It is slippery as snot, and I had such a hard time over there. But then I don't know, like North Carolina, Brushy Mountain, like that race was pretty gnarly. Battle of the Goats. Um, it depends. Like it depends like who you're riding with, right? Who's showing you stuff. It depends on the race, like who's hosting the event. Because TKO a couple of years ago wasn't too bad for the amateurs, but then I did the cliffhanger out there, and that was a steer race, Southeast Extreme Racing race, and that race was gnarly. And yeah, it kind of depends, like because then you go to Grinding Stone, the stuff they send you up there is just terrifying, like terrifying. And that's the thing about these hard enduros. So you're asking about like live footage of it and getting it televised. Like if you have a chance to go and see it in person, it is so much better in person. You just seeing the pros ride the stuff. Like you try to ride the stuff, and then seeing the pros ride the stuff is just mind boggling because they do it effortlessly, and you're like, how did they do it? Because this looks like it's impossible. But yeah, each place has its own challenges.
Is goats harder than TKO? Is Chris Kinberg's question.
When I did it, it was. But if you're getting into like the final knockouts of TKO, I don't know. Yeah, I'd say it is harder. Yeah, for sure. And then tough like Roar. Talking about races that clubs, because that's also a race that a club organizes, and they put on one hell of a race. If you make it to the final day, because you race the way that I've seen it is you race on Saturday, and then you get qualified into Sunday, and the stuff they have you sent on Sunday is just insane. The a couple of years ago, it was only 3 people that finished it. I don't know how many people finished it last year, but I don't think it was a lot. And then so that race for a club organizing it is gnarly.
Right. Well, me saying the club is not necessarily that a club won't do it. It's just a Texas club who's used to enduros, like relatively fast enduros with some hard sections. That was the biggest concern. It's like, God, these guys, like, to them, because they get people complaining about, like, not hard trails, right? They get guys like, oh my God, it's so hard.
Yeah, like a log or something, right?
Yeah, one log and one rock. Yeah. It's like, oh no. So yeah, I think those guys
nice
are different.
is that we have the course director. So Josh Shasher is the course director, and he goes out to all these races, and he makes sure that they are hard enough. And that's something that's super cool. Is they pre-run all these courses, and they work closely with the people that are organizing it to make sure that it has that hard enduro factor to it.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Jimmy. They're super proud of Roar. Their dual sport's no joke either, I'm sure. All that back east stuff, like Mark Odette, Meeker Extreme, who I guess he's not watching. I was just talking to him. He said he was going to see if he could tune in. He's going to TKO, and he's like, you should come. It's all these guys. And I explained that, first of all, I'm not a hard enduro racer. I'm just not. I like going fast. I like the Baja 1000. I like 100 miles an hour. I like that. Like that's more what I'm good at and enjoy. And I love bomb runs. Like I love the start of a National Hare and Hound. I love that crap. So I'm not a hard enduro guy. I'm going to do it because I'm excited. It's going to be super fun to do something super different. But I'm really 100% a Western guy. And I want no part of sweating rocks with moss on them. And it's just not my thing. So I also, when I race, even though, it's a different discipline, I'm going to go into it for fun. I go racing, and I want to be competitive. And I know that in Tennessee, I have zero chance of being competitive, like none. So I'm not. I'm just going to go to Donner. It's a lot like it's the Rocky Mountains. I'm still going to get my butt kicked, but at least it's like familiar. You know, it's granite rocks
So
and
what class are
trees.
you going to be running?
40 plus, just the fast guys, I guess. The 40. I don't know. There's no A, B,
Yeah.
C in that, so in the 40 plus. So yeah, I'm in the 40 plus, but we'll be graded overall, so we can
Yeah.
we can
But
see
dude,
how it
those
goes.
guys are so fast. They
Oh,
are
I know.
so fast.
Trust me, I deal with them all the time. Old guys are so fast. Whatever. I mean, I'm happy to say that I can compete with them most of the time. It feels pretty good that I can pull that off. But this is going to be a new thing. I'm excited because I'm definitely going to go in with every advantage I can give myself. Already working on my nutrition, working on riding. I've got now at my house, I can train at my house. I can sit here and do hours of figure eights and slow wheelies and, try to ride over the goat and
Yeah.
things like that. So it's going to be good. And yes, 609 Enduro, which is Jimmy Nehart, say it. I'm scared of the East Coast. Yes, I am 100% scared of the East Coast. That's all there is to it. And let's see. Jimmy dented the piss out of his 350 frame at Roar Dual Sport. Nice. That's good. That's super good. Let's see. We're getting down there, guys, on time. So if you have any more questions for Adam, please ask him. Kinberg, yes, static balance is a key. Our balance bike, that's what, next time you're here, Adam, you've got to do the balance bike out front. And
I'm going to try
video.
that out.
It's a thing.
So speaking of balance, so that's another thing that really helped me out was I got a trials bike and I've been riding the trials bike quite a bit with one of my friends, and that helped out a lot with getting like all the technique for like splattering and going up these walls and like doing the double blips, and that really helped out. But then I also did a course with Rich Larson. So he's the IRC tire rep, IRC tire guy. If you don't know who he is, he does some awesome videos, and his doing a training session with him in person is phenomenal. Because then I started focusing on my balance, and then when I focused on my balance, I'm able to keep my feet on the pegs before I go and attack something, and that's helped out a lot. So yeah, it is pretty big. And then before I forget though, so I got a bunch of Adam Does Dirt Bike stickers. So if you want some Adam Does Dirt Bike stickers, shoot me your address. Just give me an email, adamdoesdirtbikes@gmail.com, and I will send you some stickers over.
Yeah. Here, I'm putting it in to the chat right now. Boom. adamdoesdirtbikes@gmail.com. Email Adam for sure. Look at them all. Nice. That's awesome.
There's a lot. There's a lot. I got a lot. So just shoot me an email, and I'll send them over to you. So.
Yeah. And if any of you guys can make it to any of these races, like if you can come to Hawaii, you really should. It's going to be super fun, and you guys should come to Hawaii. But if you can't come to Hawaii, Grinding Stone is Page, Arizona. That's not far away for us Western guys.
The spectating there is awesome at Grinding Stone. Super easy and incredible, and that's such a cool race to go to.
Right, because since there are no trees, you can see everything, right? You can get up on rocks and basically see the whole course. Not at once, but you can go around. And then Donner, it's so Snakebite down in Texas. That might be a hard one to watch because like everything in Texas happens on private ground, and so that's a thing. But then Donner is going to be awesome at ski resort. What's the one after Donner?
Oh,
Do you
gosh,
have
I don't
your
remember
schedule?
Them off the top of my head.
I'm going to pull up the schedule. I'll pull up the schedule.
Yeah, because so there's Grinding Stone, then there's Snakebite, and then I'll wait for you to pull it up.
Yeah, no worries. So, IRC Enduro Fest is the next one. Cannot wait. That's going to be so much fun. Grinding Stone is Page, Arizona. That is March 25th, 26th. Snakebite Hard Enduro is April 1st and 2nd. It's near Lubbock, Texas. Battle of the Goats, Taylorsville, North Carolina, April 22nd, 23rd. Man, you're going to be traveling a lot, dude.
Yeah.
Fallen Timbers, Hard Enduro, Little Hocking, Ohio, May 6th and 7th. We got June 17th, 18th, Donner, Hard Enduro, Norden, California. So it's up where people ate each other. That's why it's called a Donner. It's a Donner Ski Resort. So Silver Kings, Hard Enduro, Kellogg, Idaho is June 22nd, 24th. Tough Like Roar is, so this is going back. So this is now May 27th, 28th in Pennsylvania. And then we've got May 29th, Shotgun Hard Enduro in Sugarloaf, Pennsylvania. So, and then
that's going to be a badass weekend because they are doing them back to back. So you got Tough Like Roar, which is already a super hard race. And then the Monday after, so Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday is the Saddleback. And I hear that's a gnarly race too. So that weekend is just going to be a testament of how fast can you get your body to heal and make sure you don't break your bike.
Yeah. Are you going to take both? That's another question. So this bike is being sponsored specifically for the Hawaii situation. A lot of that is actually coming from the fact that the Page race is 2 weeks after the end of this thing, and the bikes, I don't know if bikes are actually going to make it back. Hopefully they do, but they're going on a boat, and boats sink. I mean, weather happens, boats sink. It's the ocean, man. Things happen. So that's why he's got another bike. That's one of the reasons we got another bike and we built this. But after that, so after you get the bike back and the boat doesn't sink, are you going to be taking 2 bikes to races, or what's your plan there?
So I'm gonna have to talk with Robbie and see what the situation is with the bike and see if because right now it's just for Hawaii. So we'll see. It'd be nice to have a backup bike just in case.
Yeah, I don't know. Not everybody can afford it. I get it, but if you're gonna take racing super seriously, 2 motorcycles comes in real handy. Because things break, especially in your world.
Yeah.
Well, in your world, hard enduro things break a lot, right? Like a lot. And it's usually little things. It's not like seizing motors and stuff like that, but it's a thing. So having a spare bike is pretty big. Oh, actually, I have a question. This would be interesting. And Jimmy Neihart, yes, I will. I do have a private jet sponsored for all these races. You're just not invited. I'm just kidding. My 20,000 subs is coming soon. By the way, it's coming really soon. Everybody watching this now or later, make sure you stay tuned because we're doing the big draw to see who we're going to fly out here. It's going to be fun. Do you think that because this race is in Hawaii, there might be a really good chance of being a small field, therefore giving you an even better chance? Not that you need it because you did really, really well in King of the Motos, but do you think that might help you with basically winning overall?
I don't know because we get to drop one round of the West Coast, and so a lot of the guys are going to be dropping the Hawaii round, and I don't know how I'm going to stack up with the B class in Hawaii because that's their turf and they're used to that terrain. So I'm going there more for the experience and to have fun, and just to say that I raced the whole series. That for me, the goal is to race everything, do my best, and regardless of how I place, I'm just super grateful to be on a dirt bike and super grateful to have all the awesome support with getting me out there.
Yeah, and he's going to win, so it's going to be awesome. He's being very humble, Adam. I appreciate that, but that's all right. You're going to win. And I got to say hi to Brody. Brody, Brody, first of all, did you tune in as 2 different people? I think I see Tub Gamer VR and then Bow Hunter. I think Brody's an awesome kid that comes in the shop. He might be more favorite to me than my children because I like him. But I'm kidding. But I do love Brody. And my kids like Brody. But Brody, you need to work on your typing. It says Morgan, what happing? So we're going to work on that, Brody. We're going to work on your typing. in your spelling, but I'm just kidding. No, I'm excited because I know there'll be a lot of people dropping that race, and I don't know, it'd be pretty cool because with a smaller field, your superior conditioning and training, I think, I don't know, I'm excited. I think it could go really well, and obviously you're taking the right attitude, gonna go have fun, experience all that stuff, but yeah, I think you got a good shot. I mean, a 6th in King of the Motos.
Well, get this. They had more people at Enduro Fest than they did at a lot of the other hard enduros. Like, they had a huge turnout. Like, there's a lot of people out in Hawaii that race. So this
crazy.
is why they have a race in Hawaii. I think they had close to 300 people last year.
Wow.
Don't quote me on that, but it was a lot of people, like more people than they had at a lot of the other events.
That's nuts. Wow. That is surprising. Because
yeah.
I think of Hawaii. I've never been there. I'm really excited to go, but I think of it as this big with, 6 people on it. I mean, I know it's just crazy to think there's that many dirt bikers in Hawaii, but it's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. Andy BJ, yes, it is a sweet opportunity. Thank you so much. All right, guys, we are coming down to the end of it. I just want to say a massive thank you to Adam. Thank you to all of you who are watching. Again, please go follow Adam Does Dirt Bikes on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, if you follow him on Instagram, poke him constantly for more content. Just be like, hey, dude. Hey, dude. Hey, dude. And we'll keep after him. We'll get him up to the speed on this whole social media thing. Adam, here I didn't ask you this. How old are you?
I'm about to turn 33 this month.
There we go. So he's a young pup, but not so like super young. So I did
not start riding when I was 5. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Jimmy says he'll see you at Roar. Don't worry, it will be easy to find Jimmy Neihart. He'll be the roundish one with a hilarious jersey of some kind on, and arguably the nicest guy you've ever met. So, yeah, he's rad. Guys, Punk Rock Club, I love you more than I love everyone else, even more than my family. I love you. And I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. Adam, we're going to finish this thing up. Final thing, I've stolen this from one of my favorite YouTubers, Grand Thumb. What is some dad advice you can give us? I know you're not a dad, but like advice that a dad might give to the YouTubers of the world.
Dad advice, I don't know. Just let them do what they want to do and don't pressure them into doing something because that's what you want them to do.
There we go. Right on. I follow that. My kids are hilarious. My kids have cows now. Never, ever would I have thought we had cows. So, Adam, don't go anywhere. We're going to sign this thing off. Guys, I love you so much. Thank you guys for being here. We will see you on the next one.